Victor, welcome to Bullseye. I'm so happy to have you on the show, and thank you for this beautiful movie.
Thank you for your interest, guys. Thank you.
When was the first time you pointed your camera at a rock?
You know, everyone filming people mostly, right? And I thought, oh, we understood people, right? We are nice, tender, creative creature. At the same time, we are killers, awful, aggressive, self-centric. And I thought, maybe I shouldn't do films about human anymore. Then I start to film animals. Then I realize, oh, it's also not difficult because they're amazing and smart, and they even make jokes, actually. I made a movie about pig and they even make jokes. And then I said, how can I challenge myself? And I said, why don't I film something which doesn't move? So I said, what if I try to film a stone or a rock and try to make my viewers feel empathy towards rock? That's a good challenge, no? And actually, I even experienced this. So I was filming in cement factory, and the boss of cement factory, who runs it's 25 years already almost, he is actually the owner of cement factory. He was standing close to me when I was filming crush machine. When they take rocks from the mountain, they bring it to the crush machine and they squeeze it with heavy pressure. And that's the last second of the life of the rock. I film in 1,000 frames per second, and the owner of the factory, cement factory, started to cry. He said, I never seen anything like it. I'm doing this for more than 20 years, and I never pay attention that we are crushing rocks. But he never felt any empathy towards stone. And then few weeks after I came home to start edit movie, he sent me a message. He said, Victor, you changed my life. I quit this job. I sold the factory. I will do something else. It's unbelievable, right? So it works.
Did you feel empathy for rocks before you pointed a camera at them?
That's a good one. I just was thinking, I live in St. Petersburg, right? I was born in St. Petersburg. And in St. Petersburg, in the center of St. Petersburg, there is a main square, and we have a Hermitage. I don't know if you know Hermitage, right? So in front of Hermitage, we have a pillow. It's called Alexandrinsky Stolp, and it's a 600-ton pillow. And actually, we don't know how it was made. The old knowledge we have is quite flimsy. You cannot trust this because they say it's made by Manfiran, and they said there are some drawings, but the drawings contradict each other. And actually, there are many gaps in the process. And you actually, if you ask our engineers today to make something similar, and they probably cannot do it. So today, with all our technique, equipment, lift machine, cranes, and we cannot do 600-ton solid column with such perfection that the diameter of the bottom same as in the top. So it was quite a mystery how they made it. So I start to think maybe we don't know something about it. For hundreds and hundreds of years, cities were built in one simple idea. In the center, religious cathedral or mosque or whatever, and then streets are coming into it. But probably Sagrada Familia, which is around corner, is the last cathedral we as human are building, because modern city cannot have religious building anymore because we live in a multicultural society, right? So it means we have to find something new which will be real dominant of the city, which will be really important building of the city. And I asked them, 100 most important people in architecture today, what do you think we have to build in order it will be emotionally important for us today and in a few next 100 years? And you know what? No one knew answer. No one. They came with simple, banal answer like school, university, museum, concert hall, football stadium, fitness center, love hotel. It was no any vision of future. No one. And only one said to me, let's not touch it. Let's not even go there as a park. Let's keep it let's give it to nature. Let's give it that we remember that we are not alone in this planet, that we are not only one creature in the planet, that nature has its own rights and to be here. So, and it's good that it's in the center of the city, that we, every time go, we see it as something that reminds us that nature is important. So this is how it happened.
What's that, Michele De Lucci, the architect in the film?
Yeah. Of course, there are architects. I spend a lot of time with very famous architects. And very interestingly, only one said to me, I'm ashamed of what I am doing. It's very interesting because most of them told me almost same story, a little bit different in small nuances, but generally same story. It's like this. So I live in the city or in the town, and it was on the street was 10 buildings. One of them was beautiful, and 9 of them were ugly. And I asked myself, strange. We know how to make beautiful one. This one. Why we are spending money and time to build ugly one if we know how to build beautiful? So I decided to become an architect. So I studied 6-7 years, longer than any other profession. Then I was 20 years poor because no one wanted to build my buildings. I asked the architect, can I see your catalog or body of your work, like just to see what you guys do in the office? And then I realized unbelievable thing. So normally catalogs has 100 pages. 10 of the projects in the beginning and the cover like a poster, like wow, beautiful, everyone loves them and we know them. But 90 projects, horrible rectangle from concrete. And I said, hey, wait a second, you become architect because you wanted to build something beautiful. And only Michele De Lucci said, yes, I feel shame what we are doing. And the second reason I chose him, because he looked like a prophet, you know. If you look at, he really looked like, and you kind of want to listen to him. I even stepped to my neck because normally I don't make interviews, but I knew if I will not talk to him, people will never forgive me. In front of you, there is person look like prophet, and then you never ask him anything. So I said, okay, I will do interview.
I think one of the principles of your films as a filmmaker is that you want to look at things, which isn't always the organizing principle. It's always important in film, but it's not always the sole organizing principle, right? Like you want to see things. You want something interesting to look at and to learn from the looking rather than from talking.
Listen, imagine you come to cinema theater and someone starts to talk to you from the screen. Then your rational part of the brain, even this concept of rational, irrational is already questioned by scientists. But anyway, we have this part of the brain which is responsible for understanding information, for listening. So if I start a movie and it's someone on my screen start to talk to you, you want to understand what I'm trying to tell you. But if I don't say anything to you, if I just show you a picture, then what will happen? Then another part of your brain, which is responsible for you watching, analyzing yourself, thinking yourself, and feeling yourself, will be indicated, and you start to feel what you see from the screen. The difference is huge. Then I allow you to be co-writer in my film, because in a way I go against rules of cinema today, because if you go to most popular films today, which has biggest box office, the average length of the shot 2.2 seconds. So every 2 seconds, director makes cut. When he makes cut every 2 seconds, he, in a way, dictates to you what to think, because you have no chance to think yourself. He tells you what to think. If I give you a shot 5 minutes, you have chance to see it. In my film, sometimes you can see shots 10 minutes and no single word. Like Günther, for example, the final of Günther is 10 minutes, no single word. And you have chance to see yourself. You have chance to answer yourself. What do you see and what do you feel? Look, if you see architecture, or if you go to museum, you don't like someone talking to you about this picture painting, right? You have your eyes yourself. After all, we are animals, right? You know that you and me, we are animals, and we need only 4 seconds to understand who is in front of us. Only 4 seconds. And same as animal, if you are in savannah, if you are antelope in savannah, or you need just one look to understand, is it predator? Or is my food? Or is it I am food of this? Or is it my friend and I shouldn't run? Or I have to run immediately. So in one look, you read everything, right? And you need 4 seconds to understand who is in front of you. And most of the time you are right.
I live in a house, it's 20 feet from where I'm sitting right now, that is, by Los Angeles standards, ancient. My house is 130 years old, which probably makes it, one of the 500 oldest houses in Los Angeles. Maybe there are some, early 19th century Spanish colonial dwellings that remain, but otherwise, a Victorian is about as old as it gets. My house is, in my opinion, very beautiful. That's why I bought it. But it's made of wood, and probably 100 or 200 years from now, even though it's survived this long, it'll just be gone. Certainly 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, it will be gone because it's made of wood. It will be like Scandinavia, where there's no old buildings because they built all their houses out of wood and the wood disappears eventually. Do you think that the kind of semi-permanence that is represented by a stone or building out of stone is essential to beauty?
I believe it's a question of responsibility. After all, if you cut the tree, right? If you cut a tree and then you cannot just throw it away, right? It's something like you will feel bad, right? It means you will say, okay, I cut the tree, beautiful tree, which stays here 100 years. I have to be responsible, and you will think about each piece of it, how to use it properly, right? If you came to mountain, in the moment we talk to you now, in the moment we speak, few hundred mountains disappear in China. Right now, China produced cement in 1 year more than United States of America in all 20th century combined. In 1 year, China produced more cement than 100 years of previous century, all United States of America. What I'm saying is, if you take a rock, let's say 1,000-ton rock or 100-ton rock, you will be responsible for it, right? You will say, okay, we demolish mountain, but we have to use this rock for good reason, right? You will think, what aesthetic I have to put to this content? What kind of shape supposed to be in my building? Because you will know that this is forever. If you build from rock, you know it's forever. Then, if you build something ugly, then it is forever. People will say, it was Architector Kossakovsky Viktor. He was such an ugly, stupid man. Look what crap he built from the rock. So, that's why you will be responsible, and you will say, no, I have to think more, have to make, as far as forever, I have to be clever and think, have to make it in a way that people will love me and not destroy this building, and it will keep it forever. Then responsibility. But if you build for 40 years, it doesn't matter.
What kind of house do you live in?
I live in I was lucky all my life. I in St. Petersburg, I live in a building, and close to me there is a building of where Pushkin used to live and Turgenev used to live. It's just such a privilege to be born in such place. And then at the moment I live in very beautiful in Barcelona, very particular architecture. I live in really classic architecture, Barcelona architecture building. So, and you see, if you build properly, all planet wants to come to Barcelona, right? All planet wants to come to Florence. All planet wants to come to Venice. Why they go? What the hell? Why they go? It's hot. It's 35 degrees. You are sweating in an airplane. It's everywhere. It's lines, and everywhere tons of people with suitcases. Why you go there? You want to see beauty, right? That's what it is. That's what I'm saying. If we will build properly, then it will be pleasure for our grandson to remember us, and they will have to clean it and keep it forever, right? This building. But if you build what we build, rectangle, then they will have just to demolish it. This is the difference. So I believe we live in the time of boringness, of pandemic of boring architecture. I call to architects to stop, to remember why they became an architect, why they became an architect. They became architect in order to build something beautiful. Keep this dream alive.
I was in Mexico City a couple years ago, and I went to a house that was designed by Luis Barragan, the great Mexican architect. This was a cement house. And it was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. The cement itself is not necessarily the most beautiful material.
And not necessarily guilty.
But using the cement allowed him to manipulate color and light and create a sort of narrative of the experience of the house.
I agree with you. Not necessarily bad. The question is, cement allow us to make plastic material. Concrete is very plastic material. If it's very plastic, my question is, why we are making rectangles? It's plastic. Why don't we make really beautiful thing? So it means it's not a question of architects. It's a question of society itself. It's a question of construction business, developer business, political involved. And So this is not architects who are guilty, because they know how to build beautiful. And cement actually allow us to make beautiful buildings because it's called humanism. Everything for humanism. So I believe we came to the point when humanism, we can probably make next step. Humanism was, in certain level, was very good for us. But today, I would say, we transform it to something not really good, because we put ourselves to the center of the universe, and everything, just for us. We can kill 1 billion pigs. It's for humanism, right? It's humanism. We need to eat. We kill 2 trillion fish every year. 2 trillion. It's called humanism. We cut forest in order to put corn for that 1 billion pigs and 500 million cow. And then, because we do this, if we cut forest, we actually cut in rain, because forests create rain. So imagine, in the planet, we have 1 billion people without water. In the very same time, we have 1 billion pigs, 500 million cows, and other animals, which needs each of them 10 times more water than human. Excuse me, what we are doing? What we are doing? And in order to feed them, we cut forest. And it make it more dry. So what we are doing? It's called humanism. I believe we as a species, we have to come to the moment we say humanism are okay, but we are ready to make next step. Without empathy, our future not possible. If we not put empathy to our existence, we will not survive here. We must say we are not here alone. We must respect others. We must respect forest. We must respect animals. We cannot kill everyone. We cannot. Otherwise we will not survive. We cannot make cement in such volume. Imagine we produce cement enough to build 1,000 meter tall wall, 1 meter thick, around equator in 1 year. In 1 year we produce such amount of cement. This is what we do. It cannot be. It cannot be possible.
The other day, I watched a documentary about Steven Spielberg. And there are some Steven Spielberg movies that I really love. I love E.T. Jaws is really great. Close Encounters is really great. I like those Indiana Jones movies. And when I was watching this documentary, I don't drink, but if I did drink, I would have created a drinking game of the number of times people say the word storytelling or storyteller. It got ridiculous. I was like, I get it. Storytelling. Do you think that storytelling, or for that matter, making an argument, are essential to filmmaking?
Not at all. Film was born not as a storytelling. Story might be important, not necessary. Film was born as a shot, single shot, which might have story inside the shot. Film as an art, piece of part of art, was born as a unique shot. That unique shot, combined with another unique shot, might create story, but not necessary. Unique shot create unusual, it create feelings you never felt before. Unique shot allow you to see something you never seen before. It allow you to think something you never think before. This is what filmmaking is about. Then you can put it in few different order. I can tell you even more. I can make, and you can make, and anyone who is working now in our program, we can make few, let's say 10 shots from our windows. Maybe if you're looking from the same window, and then each of us will put them in different order. We will have different stories, because each of us has a different perception how to see it. But it's not necessary element for the cinema. No, cinema is not about story. It could contain story, but still, I do respect Spielberg as any other. I'm not saying my opinion is correct. I'm not saying everyone must supposed to follow my opinion. I just see that in your country, such a huge gap between documentary and fiction. The best cinematographers of the planet, of course, working in fiction. The best talented people, of course, working in animation. But in documentary, picture is normally very poor. Because story is dominating. People taking interviews, Spielberg great, he makes storytelling, It's not art. It's not art. You became filmmaker not to make interviews. It's another way of thinking. You need different education. You need different dreams. You need different purpose of life if you take an interview. And if you're thinking about cinema as it is, as pure cinema, it was born. You have different idea of life. You have different dreams. You have different purpose to wake up. And you have different purpose in your day. You have different ideas how to spend your time. No, you will rather to look from window instead of taking interviews.
How literal is the sound in Architecton?
In Architecton, I'm working with amazing sound man. I made many movies with him, and I remember article in one American magazine. They say, we thought Atmos sound in film Quaron Roma is amazing. But when we saw Aquarella, we understood that sound could be something even better. So this is guy, Alexander Dudarev. I know him since 1986 in my first shooting day. As director, it was his first shooting day as sound recordist, and he is amazing. Imagine we come into the sound recording with 100 tracks. We come into the mix with 100 tracks for documentary. Imagine this. And then we do Atmos sound mix. A normal documentary, if you ask about Spielberg and it's amazing storyteller, you don't need 100 tracks. So
you have mono sound, probably.
Exactly. So my sound recordist record sound, edit sound, and from these small pieces he makes symphony. And then we mix it in Atmos studio. So it's absolutely privileged to work with such absolutely genius Alexander Dudarev. Yeah, I believe he's the best in documentary. If you have seen our previous movie like Aquarella or Gyunda, then you know he's really master. And every film, it's like masterpiece. Now we just finished another movie called Trillion, which produced actually from Joachim Phoenix as producer. So we made another movie, Trillion. It's 80 minutes, no single word, just sound of my beautiful sound man.
Victor, thank you so much for talking to me on Bullseye, and thank you for your beautiful film.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you people.